The Republic of Cameroon is going through a myriad of challenges: security, political, and even economic. The population, most decent, have raised concerns, but as a republic that is facing its own peculiarities, many feel that their challenges or their opinions are not being heard. Many have looked up to the church to be the moral authority to be able to speak to them. But from reactions on social media, it has become increasingly concerning on whether the church is speaking for the people or the church is being silent. And in the midst of social media concerns and criticisms, we thought it wise to set the record straight. We thought it wise to bring a leader of the church to shed light on the role of the church in this very challenging moment that the population go through. Good evening and thank you for joining us on Mountain Echoes. It is a special edition. We welcome you, our viewers and listeners from across the world. Today we are looking at the church's position as the moral authority, and to shed light on this, we have with us His Lordship Michael Bibi, the Bishop of Buea. He's here not to compete with what have been criticized on social media, but to give a very firm light, a subtle way to look at all these things that have been discussed, and perhaps answer some of those worries that you've been raising in the past. And which is why we're urging you to be calm and watch us. By the end of this program, you'll definitely make informed decision on your perspectives on how the church handles state affairs. Once again, welcome. My name is Yannick Fonke. I'm your host tonight. And like I told you, I have with me His Lordship Michael Bibi, the Bishop of the Diocese of Buea. My Lord, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Yannick, for having me on set. And I'm happy to be part of Mountain Echoes this evening, a very rare opportunity, but I do it with a lot of delight to come and be with you, and in order that we share the common concerns that we have in the society as far as the role of the church is concerned, especially when it comes to standing by the side of the voiceless, making sure that it remains that moral conscience in the society. And I think, I pray and hope that our discussions this evening will be able to throw some light on some of the issues that have been raised. I'm not very much a man of the social media to see most of what is being said, but sometimes I'm updated about what is happening. And I think it's a good initiative for us to sit and have this discussion about the role of the church as far as the present situation we have in the country is concerned.
Thank you very much, my Lord. It is not every day we'll have an authority of your magnitude to come and address these pertinent issues. Sometimes they are swept under the carpet. So we say we are privileged. Definitely our audience who are watching you will definitely be very enlightened and very, very pleased if their own personal concerns will be handled by the end of this program.
It is my prayer, it is my wish, and as I say, I come with all the joyfulness that is needed, and it will be a good opportunity for us to share those concerns in order to see how we can continue to build our nation together.
Indeed. Thank you so much, my Lord, once again. Now, we have a lot to discuss, and we're going to take our time so that we digest every bit of it. We want to start, but something happened very significant today, and it seems like the entire national space is in mourning. the death of politician, opposition leader Anise George Ekane. He died at the age of 74 years. He was the leader of the Manidem political party. He died in detention, and it's been raising so much concern. The government has reacted and thrown its condolences. The international community has been reacting. Cameroonians have been reacting. As a leader of the church, how did the news hit you?
Yes, it was sad today when I heard of the passing away of the political leader, Anaset Kane of the Manidem political party, and looking at him as someone who has been there in the political field and who was actively present during the recent elections that took place. Is sad, it's unfortunate that God has called him from this life, and I think it becomes more painful when you realize that he died when he was under detention, and somebody of 74 years old under detention for political reasons, of course, because of the fact that people of that age, I would presume, must be under medications and may need constant medical attention, going to be held or kept in prison under detention for investigations and all the rest, and it happens that he dies. It's unfortunate. But it has happened. I want to extend my condolences to the bereaved family. I want to extend my condolences to the members of his party and to all Cameroonians at home and abroad who will be mourning and weeping his passing away. It's an unfortunate situation, but what we can do at this moment, why investigations will be going on with regard to the cause of his death, I think we would like to commend his soul in prayers, to pray for him, and at the same time it is also good for us to pray for the family and of course the members of his party and those who knew him. Of course, knowing somebody, being attached to somebody, and the person dies, especially under the circumstances in which he died, I think it's something that is sad, and it's just but normal that as it happened today, that we think about him at the very beginning of this program and pray for the eternal repose of his soul.
May his soul rest in peace, my Lord. Now, my Lord, let us get into the crux. We have a lot to discuss, like I said. Yes. Let's start with the economic situation of this country. There are dissenting voices. Cameroonians are in grave pain. The economic situation is dwindling. Cameroonians are suffering. And the church is silent. At least that is what the social media says. And the church has been, some dissidents have been very critical of the church. Why is the church silent? The economic situation is not appealing and the church is making no stand. Is that correct?
I want to disagree with that opinion. You know, of course, over the social media, there will be different opinions and people who look at things differently. I want to say that the church has not been silent, and that as far as the economic situation of our nation is concerned and the suffering of the people of this nation, the church has been following up very closely. And sometimes our people are not informed because maybe the information doesn't reach them as far as what the church is doing is concerned or what the church has spoken about is concerned. And I would like to take you back to the 48th annual seminar of the bishops of Cameroon. You remember the bishops, fortunately, they held their meeting in the Diocese of Buea. The Diocese of Buea is the oldest diocese in Cameroon. And after we concluded our meeting, there was a message that we sent out to all the priests, all the religious, all the Christians, people of goodwill, after our meeting. And that is what the bishops normally do. When we have our meeting, During the course of that meeting, we always sit down and examine how is the state of the nation. And when we examine it, we write out a communique, a message to the people. The question is that when that message comes out, how many people take time to read that message? How many people even know what the church has done? And of course, when we finish this meeting, the message that we wrote, actually the Holy Father, at that time Pope Francis, had declared the year of hope. And the bishops in their meeting actually mentioned the fact that it is important and it is necessary that the church continues to bring hope to the people. And the bishops were very clear in that message. They accepted the fact that when you look at the economic situation in the country, take for instance the taxation system. Lots of taxes are demanded from the people in such a way that people who do basic business and all the rest, they are not able to meet up. And if you are not able to meet up with the taxation situation, it means that whatever business you are doing becomes very difficult. Even those who want to carry out certain businesses, because of the tax that they have to pay, it becomes very, very difficult. And of course, the bishops actually went back to the message of the head of state and also highlighted some of the points that we have been talking about regarding the nature of our citizens. We look at the situation of many areas. There's lack of water. People do not have potable water to drink. Look at the issue of transportation. It's a nightmare sometimes driving. For now, just take leaving Douala Bikoko and driving to Buea.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, a short distance that can be covered within a very limited period of time. You take a very longer period of time, and people are suffering because their cars get damaged, and the price of paying taxi to go to this transportation, to go to Douala and other places is expensive because of the nature of the roads. There are even some roads that the situation is worse. And of course, we know that there are also situations in the nation as far as energy is concerned, energy. If you look at the situation we have, there are some of the villages around, or some of the towns, that will go for a longer period of time with no electricity. Transformers are blown, and the transformers, when they are blown, it's not easy to get a new one to come on board. So people can stay for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months with no electricity. And if you look at the situation we also have in the country, people are suffering from abject poverty. Yes, abject poverty. And especially in the northwest and the southwest region, because of the crisis and all the rest, who have Cameroonians who find it difficult even to go to school because of lockdowns that make it difficult for people to go to school, for people to carry out businesses. We have people who produce their crops in the farms in some of these areas. They cannot transport them to sell, and their living condition becomes difficult. You have people who have suffered a lot because of this crisis, that life has really become unbearable as far as they are concerned. Unemployment rate. So the bishops, in their message on the 11th of January 2025, we had a document that came out, and in that document we spelled out some of the challenges that we are going through in the nation. And at the same time, we also appeal to the government. After giving them the challenges, we appeal to them, if this or this can be done, it's going to help to better the situation. And of course, we have mentioned things like corruption, we've mentioned things like embezzlement, and that is common in our society. And if all of us at our different levels, our consciences are properly formed, it is going to help a long way to see to it that we improve on our situation.
Now, my Lord, I mean, just like it is accused that many of the citizens don't read these documents when they are produced, it also appears that the leaders don't also read these documents. So it's always joked around that to hide anything from a Cameroonian, put it in a document. I mean, these leaders are your Christians. You see them every day in church. They come and you pray for them. Do you talk truth to power to them on the pulpit?
Of course. We don't use the pulpit to settle scores. We use the pulpit in order to preach the gospel. And most of the people who are working in the government, they're Christians. They may be Catholic Christians, Presbyterians, Baptists, or whatever. Some of them are not Christians. And it is possible that in areas and moments that we happen to meet, maybe they are making a visit somewhere and we are invited. Take an example, if a minister is coming to Buea and I'm invited to be part of the meeting that the minister is coming to hold, and I go there and I meet the minister in the course of discussion, there's also some of these things, some of these challenges, some of these difficulties that we bring to their knowledge, So I totally disagree that the church is silent. The church is not silent. The church is speaking. And I think what we are doing now is very important, because there are some people who don't even know that the bishops wrote this message. There are some people who don't know about it. There are some people who don't know that last year the bishops wrote about, encourage people that they should go and register to vote. This year they don't know that in March, on the 25th of March, the bishops wrote about the presidential elections and also gave directives on how the elections were supposed to be carried out. And the bishops, when they write and the messages go out, it is expected that at the level of the different government authorities that somebody can also look at it and be able to share the information. But I think that one of the things that we have to do is that, take for instance DMRT. When those messages come up, you can pick up that message and see how to understand that message, make the message to go out, and to be able to let the people understand what the church is doing. What the church is doing. So it is a misconception to say that the church is silent. If you have listened to some of the bishops, it may be either during some homilies or during other occasions and gatherings, they have mentioned certain things as far as the situation in the country is concerned. And I think that it is a responsibility. And I would say that the government have their own part to play, but we, the Christians too, we have our own part to play. It's not a single group that is supposed to be blamed as far as our challenges are concerned. But of course, those who are in the government, those who have the authority, they also have the duty and the responsibility to follow up, to make sure that things are proper, are moving on well in the country. And Yannick, I have to be honest with you, I don't think that the government can give employment to all those who leave university.
That's right.
It will be difficult. I don't think, yes, the roads are there, they are bad and all the rest. So we are saying that like now, they're discussing on the budget. After that, they're going to make allocations as far as different activities are concerned to be executed within the course of the year. The question is, when this budget is approved and these roads are supposed to be constructed, maybe electricity energy is supposed to be improved, maybe security and all the rest, is there a proper follow-up of the people who take the money of the state in order to do these constructions? So that they do it, and they do it according to the plan that is submitted. I think that is very, very important. Because if the budgets are made, the money is there, the money is sent out, and the people who are supposed to execute the projects, they don't execute the projects properly. And there is no supervision, and they are not brought to book, then we are not going to have any improvement. So we all have a duty and a responsibility to make sure that when jobs are given the people who have to make sure that these jobs are carried out and carried out properly, that they do their work for the good of Cameroonians.
I like to the next question is called from a fellow bishop like you, the Bishop of Bafoussam, His Lordship Paul Ochikone. He made a reference saying that the people, when the people are hungry, they are angry, the government has the right to give them the basic amenities so that the people can be able to participate in the growth of the church. And we've also had other bishops speak like that also. But they've come under attacks from some state missionary, and they've been having coordinated attacks and all of that. And many feel there is this criticism online that the generality of the bishops are quiet because they don't want to fall under such attacks from those who attack them in government and go scot-free. First of all, what do you make when the bishops come under attack and nothing is done by the state to address such issues? And then these other claims on social media that the other bishops don't speak because they don't want to be under attack.
You cannot say the other bishops don't speak. The bishops will speak at a conference. And that is why I'm talking to you about what we wrote in January and what we also wrote in March. So, any bishop in his own diocese can also have some realities that he experiences. And if he has those realities that he experiences, he has a right to talk about it. And when you talk about it, the government may attack you that you have said it against the government. If you say some other thing, maybe the people in the diaspora who attack you that you have said this. If you say this, maybe the social media and all the rest. So you have situations like that, and that is why the church sometimes comes under attack, because sometimes people have lots of expectations in their mind. They are sensational about certain things, and they think that if the bishop doesn't speak the way they want, then the bishop has not done anything. No. There are different ways of expression. And of course, the truth is that the bishops, the successors of the apostles, they know very well what is supposed to be done. They have a conscience. They're the voice of the voiceless. And when there are situations that are not proper, the bishops, they speak. So we cannot say that the bishops have been silent. And even in the face of attacks, when we make a statement, if I make a statement here now, the people who are for what I've said, the people who are not against it. And you always have these differences in opinion. You always have the differences in opinion. But what is essential and what is necessary is that we must all stand for the truth. We must speak the truth. If I know I'm speaking the truth, and I know that my conscience is clear, no matter what you write about me, no matter what you say about me, if my conscience does not rebuke me, it's a non-event. It's a non-event. And we cannot allow ourselves to be carried away by social media. Because those in the social media, those who write, they're even those who don't live the reality. They don't know the reality on the ground. The situation on the ground, they're not conversant with it. And I can talk to you about Buea and the challenges of Buea and the crisis we're having in my diocese because I go down to the people. You have gone out with me and other members of your team. You know the places we have gone to. You know the challenges we have faced. So it is important for us to understand that the church will not go and make noise all over about what it is doing. But the church remains the moral authority in order to make sure that it guides the people. And whether you are in the government or whether you are not in the government, if there are issues that we have to share, if there are issues that we have to discuss about, we are going to discuss them and we are going to talk about it.
there is this other concern that sparked a lot of discussion, both online and even on mainstream media. The fact that, for some reasons, the interpretation and misinterpretation that the bishops were invited to the presidency and they went there, they had a conversation, and despite the letter that was sent, many still feel that the church leaders are compromised because of their too close relationship with the status quo that has in effect has affected their speech and their ability to act as the moral conscience of the society. My Lord, can you walk us through that meeting you had, and reiterate on what you wrote in that letter, and then come back to address this issue of the compromisation of your ability to speak for the people because of your too much proximity with the status quo?
Yes, we were invited to the presidency in order to get our opinion as far as the elections that were to be organized were concerned. And I think that when we went to that meeting, we did not go there in secret. We went there publicly. If we are invited by the government authority to come and give our opinion on how they can organize elections and organize it well and all the rest, the church cannot say no. It was not only the bishops that went there. We did not go there to endorse the candidacy of the president. We never even discussed about his candidacy. Other people went there because of their political inclinations. They had to endorse the president and all the rest. We went there as the bishops who were also going to give our own advice. If you call me as your spiritual father to come and advise you on something that you want to do, I cannot say no. I'll be filling in my responsibilities. And we went there and we met with the Secretary General of the Presidency, who invited us, and he had an introductory talk while they were inviting us as spiritual leaders to get our impression as far as the situation in Cameroon is concerned and the elections that they are supposed to organize. And before going there, the president of our conference, His Grace Archbishop Andronkea, had prepared the documents that the bishops just signed and sent out, just in case maybe the higher authorities do not have copies, that he wished the bishops should be able to give the copies. And we went there with the message that we wrote on the 11th of January 2025 about the situation of the Cameroonian people, their challenges, their difficulties, and at the same time we get some proposals on what can be done in order to make things to be better, looking at the present state of the country. And we also had a letter that we wrote on the 25th of March this year, just about 2 months after the first letter. We wrote that one on the presidential elections that was coming up, presidential elections. And there, of course, we also gave concrete proposals on how the free and fair elections should be organized. And that once the elections are organized, and at the end of the day, people go and they do the voting, because in April last year, 2024, we had written encouraging people to go and vote. It's their right to go and register. And some people, of course, heeded to it. Some people did not. Yes. So we went to the Unity Palace with these 2 documents. And the president of our conference thanked the representative of the head of state for inviting us to hear from us. And the bishops who were delegated to be there, we gave these 2 letters that we want to get our advice as far as the upcoming election is concerned. This is what we think about the Cameroonians. This is what they are going through from our concrete reality that we have in the field. And at the same time, we said, you are about to organize these elections. This is what we think. If you follow the advice that we have given here and organize the elections accordingly, then it is going to pass and pass well, so that so that peace should be able to reign. And of course, peace cannot reign without justice. And that is why we had to say there must be transparency, there must be accountability, and make sure that the elections are organized and organized well. And I think after we finish, we decided, the Secretary General decided to put into writing what we went there to do, what we did, and when we left. We were there for a meeting about an hour. And after that, the communique was sent out. And to be honest with you, Yannick, I'll tell you that about a month ago, I was just discussing with one of my priests, and the priest told me, I was not happy that people went to see to the presidency, and after that, I would have even advised that people should have written to say what you went there and did, so that people should not misinterpret you. I said, Father, let me send it. I just sent it to him immediately. And when he said, Bishop, I'm sorry. So, Yannick, we are talking about we are too close. How are we too close? Yes, how are we too close? We are bishops, and as bishops, if I have, as I mentioned, if there is a meeting that is taking place here, and a minister is coming, or the governor of this region invites me, if I'm available, I cannot say I'm not going to go. There are government authorities. And we go, if I have documentations or ask authorization for schools or for hospitals, I go there. If there are other challenges that Christians bring to me about what they are going through in their different areas, they come to me. I go there and I talk. I go to them. I even go to a ministry that I don't even know the minister personally, but I go there because I have issues that I have to present as far as the common good is concerned. There are some of the ministers and government officials that are our brothers, that are our sisters. There are some of them that are our friends. And the fact that you are a brother or a sister to somebody doesn't mean that if the person does something wrong, you cannot point out. By the way, do we also look at the positive things that this government is doing? Do we also look at the positive things that these ministers are doing? The positive things that the governors are doing and all the rest. They are also human beings. They may have their weaknesses. Nobody refuses it. Even in the church, we are also human beings. We have our weaknesses. Nobody is perfect. And that's why Jesus invites us, be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect. We are spiritual guides. And as spiritual guides, if somebody is in need of you and invites you to advise him spiritually, to advise him as far as life is concerned and all that, you cannot refuse. So it's a misconception that because you know somebody in government, because you relate with that person in government, then you cannot speak the truth. It's not the Catholic Church. We don't, because you know me, Yannick. So if there's something that I'm doing that is not wrong, you will not tell me. Will you be afraid to tell me because I'm your bishop?
Definitely.
You should not. You should tell me. Because the only way you can help me to be better is to tell me so that I know what the situation is. Then I'll see also how to model my life. But we are too negative sometimes that we forget the goodness. That we forget the goodness as far as people are concerned. And I'm telling you that in this very government, there are very good people there. In this very government, there are very holy people there. In this very government, there are people who are doing their best every day in order to be better. But since sometimes the society may have already tapped anybody who belongs to the government, there's always that possibility of looking at the ministers and the governors and the government officials as if they are all bad people, which is not true.
Well, now, across Buea and across the world, if you're just tuning in, this is a special edition of Mountain Echoes, and it is beaming live from Divine Mercy Radio Television. Tonight, we are looking at the growing criticisms, especially on social media, about the alleged silence of church leaders, church authorities in Cameroon, and the conception that the too much affinity of authorities, of the religious authorities with those in governance compromise their ability to question them and speak truth to power. We are here with His Lordship Michael Bibi, and we are saying it as it is. And if you've most have been watching, you would see the frankness from His Lordship Michael Bibi, who is here to answer every question in as far as it is in line with building a prosperous nation. Now, you too can send your own contribution if you have any, and we're definitely going to be asking the bishop whatever you have to ask him with regards to the present situation in Cameroon. My Lord, we are getting into it, and I think that I am becoming very, very contented with some of the things you're saying. I must say, I'm also learning a lot of those things that you're saying, because sometimes we're swayed by some of these messages that go online. But I still have more queries. I still have more things to ask you. Let's look at the 2025 presidential election. It's been one phenomenon that has shaken the very fabrics on which this nation is built. At some point in time, many felt that the nation was going to be deteriorating to a very complex situation, but we thank God everything went differently. But then there were so many people who are still hurting, and they feel that the church is silent. The church says nothing in the wake of this very concerning situation. Is the church really silent in the wake of the political situation?
Yannick, you can bear with me that the church has not been silent. The church has not been silent. As I mentioned to you already, on the 25th of March, the bishops wrote about the presidential elections. And when the bishops wrote about the presidential elections, there were recommendations that they gave. And if those recommendations were sent out, it was also expected that the competent authorities were supposed to make use of these recommendations. And as I told you, when we went to the Unity Palace, we gave these recommendations. You want to hear what we think? It's not only the few bishops who are here. This is what all the bishops of Cameroon think. And this is what we gave. And of course, the role of the church was not only giving those recommendations. Individual bishops in their different dioceses, they had to talk to their people, they had to sensitize their people that they should vote according to their conscience. They should not be manipulated by anybody to go and vote. And whoever they are voting, they should vote someone that they know that will be able to deliver the goods. I remember even in the Diocese of Buea, through DMRT and my communication service, I had posts that I was sending out every day, to try to form the consciences of people. That is what we did. Of course, the elections came, and we also prayed. We also prayed that things should be done and done properly, so that the campaigns, the elections, the proclamation of the result, everything after that everything should be in order. That was our prayer. That was our wish. At the end of the day, the elections took place. I know that the elections took place, before the elections took place, beginning with the campaign, in the southwest and the northwest region, we're under lockdown. That's right. We're under lockdown. And under the lockdown, which means that in some areas in the northwest and the southwest region, people could not vote. I don't know whether the people who did campaigns went to those areas. I don't know whether on the day of the elections, all those who were supposed to vote, whether they voted. But at the end of the day, the elections took place. And at the level of the National Episcopal Conference, we have this Justice and Peace Commission. And the Justice and Peace Commission, at the level of the Episcopal Conference of Cameroon, during that time, the president of this commission is the President Archbishop Bamenda, and president of the National Episcopal Conference. He had demanded that they should give us 307 opportunities to give us, I think, the voting stations, that we need polling stations. Yes, that they should assign us to those places. We are assigned on 202, and out of the 307. So the observers from the National Episcopal Conference could not go to 105, but they went to 202. And these observers were given training. Remember the Diocese of Buea, we sent people to Yaoundé. They were given training on what to look for and how to follow up things. And they went, and the election finished. And after that, there was a meeting that the president called, the president of the commission. And after that, he wrote a report, the report that he got from the field, from the observers, in the 202 polling stations that the Catholic Church was present there. And of course, from the results, the people who went out, they gave information, how the elections were organized, how things moved on smoothly, how the votes were counted with the people there, and everything. They gave the positives. But at the same time, they also realized that there were also some inconsistencies as far as the voting was concerned. And there are situations in which maybe they went to the procès verbal, the document that is supposed to be signed.
The return sheet.
Yes, the return sheet was signed only at the beginning and at the end.
At the end of the pages. And
Yes,
the
so the middle page was not signed, which the observers thought that was not proper. There were polling stations on the field that were not on the list of those that were approved by ELECAN. Yes, yes. The electoral list was not updated because the people who were dead, but whose names were still found in there. So when these reports were given by our own observers, the president of the conference, who is the head of this commission, wrote and sent it out. What our observers saw, what were the successes, what were the challenges, and all the rest. So if you say that the church is silent, I totally agree. I totally agree. That is a misconception from those who don't want to see what the church is doing. But God sees us. God sees us because we are not silent. We are on the spot. And we try to make sure that what we have to do as our moral responsibility for the good of the people, that we do it. And we are not going to change from that position to make sure that we speak when it is necessary, and we also make sure that we do not allow anything that is within our competence to handle to flip up our hands. And that is why the church cannot be accused for being silent. Because if people have been reading, if they have been following up, they would have seen what is happening and the reality of what the church is doing.
Right. Now, my Lord, take away from the letter the bishops wrote on the 25th of March 2025 was that the population should come out massively and vote, but not only to vote, but to protect their vote. And it appears the population heeded to that call from the bishops. We saw on the 12th of October the massive turnout, but that it did not end at that. After 6 p.m., we saw people using their phones to count votes, their votes, and they were there on camera. They saw that this person has won in this police station and all of that, and it would appear things changed along the line. I mean, from the opinion, from what we have, and this concept of legality and legitimacy has been frequently coming up, and all of that. Many persons feel like the voting outcome, just like the bishops had called and the people protected their votes, wasn't reflected at the national level. And so people felt that maybe for some reasons the church should also make a statement about legality and legitimacy. But the church has been silent on that.
The church has not been silent because, as I mentioned to you, we sent our own observers. They went there, they came back, they gave us updates, and we communicated. The church is not part of the process to take results from one level to the other. We in the church, we believe that the areas where these votes were counted, everything was done there and all the rest, we believe that that is the result that is supposed to be transmitted. At the same time, we are also hearing that in some places, the people people were told that they voted in certain places when there were actually no votes there. Mm-hmm. We are also, take for instance, in the Northwest and the Southwest region, in most of the areas where they are set,
kind of
inflation of the number of the voters who were there, mm-hmm. and there are even some party members who had to resign because they said, no, this what we are seeing here is not the reality. Mm-hmm. So it is true that there was election ringing in certain areas. Mm-hmm. It is true. And if there was election ringing, the question that we should ask ourselves is, if the Northwest and the Southwest were having this crisis that we are having, there was lockdown, there was ghost town, people were not supposed to vote, how was the voting carried out in those areas? Mm-hmm. I cannot explain. I can only say what I know. I can only say what I know. There have been the cry that the voting was ringed in certain areas. The results that were sent were manipulated. What the Constitutional Council gave was not the true picture and all the rest. Only those who have facts and statistics can talk about that. Mm. We don't have it. We don't have it. But we know that there is a possibility that that happened. Mm. And if we don't have it, we can talk about it. Mm-hmm. We can talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Right. My Lord, I should tell you that there is an avalanche of messages that are coming in. People are reacting and they need their concerns. So before we go in with more questions, I think that we should also look at what people are saying, and we're encouraging the audience to send as much as they can. Send your contributions and we'll definitely be talking with the bishop. This is the first reaction. It says, the bishop said they gave recommendations to the Secretary General when they met with him before the election. What were some of these recommendations, and were there any suggestion that the Biya government wasn't helping Cameroonians to meet the development goal of 2035 by the same government? That's a question. Like, what were the recommendations, and was there anyone that suggested that the Biya government wasn't helping Cameroonians to meet development goal of 2035? And the person has decided not to send the name. Well, we're encouraging every viewer to, if you're contributing, please be man enough to send your name. But from previous text messages that this same person has been sending over DMRT, we can intimate that his name is Felix Diko from Buea. So reading the previous text messages. So Felix Diko has asked that question. I don't know if I should read more and then you react collectively. Or?
One, so it goes to be. I mean, I have mentioned 2 documents. The message of the bishops at the end of the 48th annual seminar of bishops of Cameroon that took place in Buea. If he wants a copy, we can send him the copy. I've also spoken about the pastoral letter on the elections that was done on the 25th of March 2025. So if his concern is that area, let him look at these 2 documents to get the details of what we said inside. And if he doesn't have, he could send his number, and you have the documents, yes, you forward to him. Yes,
I think that, Mr. Diko, that answers your question. Good evening, my Lord Bishop Michael Bibi. My name is Marcel, and I'm watching you from Bamenda. In your conscience, that is, in your conscience, don't believe in the overwhelming result in favor. Okay, in your conscience, do you believe in the overwhelming result in favor of President Paul Biya in the Northwest and the Southwest region? That's the first question. And do you actually believe that President Paul Biya won the election, given the information at your disposal? It's coming from Marcel, writing from Bamenda.
Yes, you are talking to my conscience. The information that I have at my disposal as far as elections are concerned are the information that the Constitutional Council gave out. No other person sent us information or sent me information. As far, I was not part of a LECAM, neither was I part of the Constitutional Council. The only results that I know, results came from this person here, this year, and all the rest. The only official results that I have and that I saw, like all of us did, was what the Constitutional Council brought out. So, what they brought out shows that he won the elections, then he won the elections. If there's another person who thinks that there are other results that can contest what the Constitutional Council brought out, then they only have to bring it and because these are things that, those other results, I cannot give my head for it because I cannot vouch for it. So the only thing is, they can go to court. If there are other results that are contested and they
go to court again because the Constitutional Council has declared. The Constitutional Council is the biggest court of the land.
So I don't have the facts about the result. From what was presented, we're told that Paul Biya won the election. Right. And he is talking from the Northwest. I think he won in the Northwest nearly in all the places.
That's the second question he's asking you. That he's still asking about your conscience.
Yes.
That you should talk about. Do you believe about the results of the
elections? I know that there was ghost town. And I know that some places when I voted and some people
had 5,000 people who voted.
I was not there. If they say they voted for the president 5,000, only those who were there I cannot take responsibility on somebody where I wasn't. I'm even surprised that you had all those numbers there because I knew that there was ghost town. People were not supposed to go out to vote.
Yeah. Also, judging from the fact that the place has been deserted owing to the security concerns. Yes. So we're wondering where they came from. Well, he's asked your conscience and you're giving him.
I'm giving him, that's his opinion. Yes, and I'm saying that I cannot, Yannick, I cannot say that those people voted or did not vote because I was not there. But from the statistics that they said they voted. So anybody who has a problem with that should go and meet the person who declared that and let them see whether that actually happened or not. How do you want the bishop to get that information?
Be the moral voice of the voiceless. You can be able to look. You can easily decipher between the truth and
what do you mean? That has nothing to do with the moral voice.
Well, I'm just saying maybe from the expectations.
That is a person's opinion. We don't deal with opinions of people. People have 1,000,001 opinions.
Right.
So we don't deal with opinions of people. The document is showing that people voted in Batibo. I was not there in Batibo. I don't know whether people came out to vote or they never came out to vote. So it is those who are in Batibo and those who conducted the elections there that should be held responsible if people were not there and they had 5,000. Right. or people were there and they were not up to that number, and that number came up. So whoever was the person in charge in that area should take responsibility, Yannick. Right. Yes.
My Lord, we have many questions and we still have some questions to pose to you. Time is really a factor now. Greetings, my Lord. Thank you, my Lord, for taking time to share with us. My worry is the post-election of other countries.
Other countries. Their reality is not our reality.
They do make some stern proclamations.
They made stern proclamations. Mm-hmm. Their reality is not our reality. Right. So these proclamations that I have told you about, were they not stern proclamations?
They were.
So what is it? We spoke from what we saw. People cannot pressurize us to say what their mindset is. If they have a mindset and they have issues, let them say it.
No, they feel that the church should speak for them.
The church should speak from them. The church does not speak from the air. Mm-hmm. The church speaks from the reality. And if the reality is not there, what do you want the church to say? Does the church have any statistics to show that another person won? The church does not. So can you go and make a pronouncement on what you don't know? Then you cause harm. So it is yes, we've heard that people, Oscar Romero, we have heard about these people there, and different Episcopal conferences.
Congo and Malawi,
every
Episcopal
nation,
conference declared.
Every nation have their particular situation. If the church in those nations had statistics and information that warranted them to do what they did, bravo, congratulations. But I'm telling you that, how do you expect me? Maybe say the Bishop of Buea. I'm not talking here about the Episcopal. I'm not representing the Episcopal Conference of Cameroon. I'm talking here as the Bishop of Buea. Right. I'm talking here as the Bishop of Buea. Mm-hmm. If we did not have information that came to the National Episcopal Conference to explain that this is the result, this is what was the reality, this was not the reality, what do you expect us to talk? And that's why I say that, people have some fixed ideas in their minds, and they think that this is how the church should act, and if the church doesn't act like that, they are offended. But they don't need to be, because the church cannot just hear rumors and gossips here and there and go and also make a statement. But if the church has statistics, if there was any candidate after that election that came with all the statistics in all the 307 polling stations and said these are the original statistics to the Episcopal Conference, bishops, people should sit down, this is the reality and all the rest, that would have maybe been a different thing. We'll sit down and we'll look at it, then we can make a statement on what has been presented to us. And we can even challenge the government that these are other results, that if we see that all the documents were in order and there was another person that won the election, we can say, from these statistics that we have received, name all the places, all the polling stations, and give all the statistics and say, this is the situation. But even our observers, they went to 202. They didn't go to 105. So we could not even have the totality of what was there.
My Lord, please, without cutting you short, we actually have so much in store. But my Lord, opposition leader Isachiroma Bakari published his own results, claiming these are the perceivable, and he's showing that he won in 18 major towns and all of that. But the government said those results were faulted. They've been stuffed and they're faulted. And so it wasn't regarded. Even at the level of the National Vote Counting Commission, he made such claims, but he was not accepted. And so his own his own representative there had to withdraw. And so the government said all those results were not correct. So we are in the face of results presented by the state, by the national structures for elections, and then the one from opposition leader. In between all of this, Does the church just go to the one presented by the state, or the church had considerations from the one presented by the opposition leader?
My point is this, Yannick. You have to understand that the church is in between. The electoral code in Cameroon gives procedures for how elections are carried out, how they are supposed to be counted, how they are supposed to report, and when the results are supposed to be proclaimed. And as I say, if the president, if the president of the LECAM, whoever is the person, if they have their own statistics, and Mr. Issa Chiroma too had his own statistics, before they even went to the Constitutional Council, those are things that they should have fought for. As I say, if the results you are talking about was, say, brought to the bishops, and the bishops, through any means, could identify the authenticity of what is presented to them, then the bishops could make another statement. But we don't have any results like that. They were all shown over social media, like many other things over social media. Like many other things over social media. So we cannot pick on social media information and react on it. Right. The bishops are a constituted body, and we don't talk cheap. We talk when we know that we have our facts that are verifiable and that we cannot be contradicted.
Right. Many feel that the reason why there is rising voice coming from social media is because of the censorship, some censorship going on the mainstream media, and so many people have now picked up the social media as the last bus stop for them to express themselves on national issues.
They have the right to express themselves. But social media is there. People are free to express themselves over the social media, and whatever we get over the social media, we have to shift it well. Right. We have to examine it well. Because just as the social media gives us lots of truth and realities in life, that is how the social media is responsible for a good number of lies telling, defamation of characters, and the disrespect of human persons. There are lots of things going on in social media that if I want to talk about it here, we will not leave this studio today. But what I'm just saying is that everybody, you have your right to express yourself. We talk about censorship. I follow DMRT. I follow My Media Prime. I follow the other TV stations. I see the way people talk freely. I see the way people talk freely. I see the way they exchange their views. So the way they do it, that's the same thing they do over the social media. But as I say, I can never rely on any content from social media when individuals voice out their personal opinion and grievances on issues. But if I on the ground have concrete realities that I need to talk about, that I need to handle, you think I'm going to do that? Right. If I don't have it, I cannot talk cheaply. Because social media, a good number of people there are cheap talkers.
Okay. Let's go to the text messages. Now, this other text message says, Augustine teaches that pastors must speak truth in a way that builds peace rather than stirs chaos. A word spoken without prudence, he warns, can wound the flock more than silence can. It is for the reason that the bishop insists that the church must speak consistently without endangering lives or deepening division. That's a contribution, and it's coming from Reverend Father Joseph Ngome. This other one, it says, this one says, why did the church not release the results they had from their representatives during presidential election? It's coming from Rudy Bambino.
The results that the observers had and that they brought in from the normal counting, like every other had, they counted on sheets of papers. Those were not official results for the church to release. And it's not the work of the church to release. Because the places where the people voted, everybody they counted and they knew what came out of it. I voted in Buea here, and after that, in the evening, when they counted, I was told the situation of the polling station where I was. And if that is sent to the observer that was in Buea, if they send that they write a small sheet of paper and said 200 people voted for this, 100 for this, 50 for this, 25 for this, should we go and publish it? Everybody who were there, they have it.
Right.
Yes, they have it. So if people voted and their votes were not reflected at the level of Elekam, they should have walked up to Elekam, to walk up to the Elekam officials and say, this is what we have in our hands. This is what we are proclaiming, which is not correct.
Right. If the bishop cannot speak for what happened in Batibo because he was not there, but he makes reference to the letters the bishop sent, in which they mentioned points on issues that happened in places where they were not there, where is the consistency? This is coming from journalism trainer Leslie Ngwa.
Yes, the consistency is there. We sat and I mentioned that those who went for the observing, they came back, gave their report. We believe them because we send them to go and do and bring to us. In Batibo, I will not know whether I had any observer there or not because I'm not the president of that commission. I don't have the list of all the 202 polling stations that were there. So you want me to talk about Batibo having 5,000 voting and all the rest? I didn't get any information as far as voting in Batibo was concerned.
He's talking about the bishops entirely. Like the bishops were able to make reference to areas they were not there, but they cannot be able to decipher whether.
There were 307 polling stations. We're in 202. In the 105, we cannot make a statement. So where is the inconsistency? I'll make a statement in a place that we're not there. And the Northwest and the Southwest, you know very well, that there was lockdown for 1 month, almost 10 days. And those were areas that observers did not go. And those were areas that people voted. So how do you expect? It's like you are forcing me to say something that I don't have the competence to say. I'm very, very consistent. Yes.
Let's continue with the questions. This other one, this says, greetings, my lord. My name is Vitalis, writing from Atlanta, USA. This is my question to you, my lord. No elections took place in the entire Archdiocese of Bamenda, the entire Anglophone regions, and Elekam came up with some numbers that even looked like they were massive turnout. My concern that I need clarification is that when the church is silent in the face of such injustice, what exactly is its use? That's the first question.
Yes, Vitalis, I think as far as that question is concerned, you are not correct. Elections took place. I am in Fako. We had elections here. I can talk about Fako because I saw people going and voting as they did in other places. In the Northwest and the Southwest region, there were ghost town, and the presumption of that there will be no elections. But elections took place. And in some of the places in the Northwest and the Southwest, people were able to vote. But in some other places, people were not able to vote. And where people could not vote, I don't know how results came out from those places. Either the results were faked, or people were brought in to vote, or what. I cannot talk about what I do not know.
That's right. The second question is about the situation that happened in Bamenda on the 15th of November. It says that the Christians raised concerns when the nuncio made some statements that why are the church leaders not talking about this?
What do you want the church leaders to talk about it? What do you want the church leaders to talk about it? The nuncio was in Bamenda for the rededication of the cathedral, and in his normal way of greeting and acknowledging the people who were in church, he mentioned the name of the head of state, and the people grumbled. That grumbling was a sign of their dissatisfaction with the name that was called. The people have a right to express themselves. And after we got that noise in the church, the nuncio just reminded them, I am the apostolic nuncio. And they clapped, and we continued. The fact that there was that reaction in church was also a clear sign that this is maybe true, that in some areas where voting took place, or in some areas there was no voting, but that numbers were given to indicate that people voted. As I say, we have no statistics or proof to say anything. But that noise, of course, was a clear sign that the person that was called as the president was not, the people didn't identify with the person. And the people, they have a right to do that. It was spontaneous. It came naturally. Nobody planned it, which is also a serious indication that fundamentally there is a problem.
Right. Now, we're slowly coming to an end of this program. But my Lord, we have to talk about the security situation, especially in the two English-speaking regions, because, I should say, by virtue of being a leader of the church in this part of the region, you have had your own fair share of the consistent inconsistencies that are happening in the two English-speaking regions. And just recently, priests of the Archdiocese of Bamenda were kidnapped. And this is the growing reality of the two English-speaking regions. Priests work in very difficult situations, and they've become a target from both sides of the divide. How is the church handling all of this?
Yes, it was a sad situation that some priest and a layperson were kidnapped. From the letter that the Archbishop of Bamenda wrote, and of course after that some were released, but one person, Father John Berunitata, who is still in captivity. And I want just to use this medium to talk to all my brothers and my sisters, Cameroonians, those in the northwest and the southwest region, that let us be converted. Let us be converted. Whether it's a kidnapping of a priest or a bishop or a Christian or a citizen, whoever, to kidnap people, to go keep them, to ask for a ransom, is not the best thing to do. And when you look at the church, we have given our lives for the service of the people. The priest is there for the people. We have nothing for ourselves. We are there to serve the people. And if you decide to go and kidnap the priest with a lay person, and after that you want to release, you are keeping one person, I don't think it is good. I'm just appealing, I'm pleading to the people who are responsible that Father should be released. Father was sent to Ndop to work for the people. There was no university in Ndop. People were with the crisis. Even the people in Ndop could not manage to come to Bamenda to go to a university. And the Archbishop of Bamenda struggled and looked for means in order to begin a university. Then send somebody to go there and help these our brothers and sisters who are poor, who cannot come to town to go to a university. Then the person that they sent to come and help make this university grow, he is being kidnapped. It's painful. It's painful. I'm pleading, I'm appealing to those who are keeping Father John to soften their heart, to release Father. Let Father continue the service that is running to the people from Ndop. I'm appealing to the elite of Ngokutunja. I come from Ngokutunja myself. I'm appealing to our elites that if there's any way that we can facilitate and let this priest come out of this situation, it will do us a lot of good. And I want to make a general appeal to those of our brothers or sisters who are involved in kidnapping, that it doesn't speak well of us. We're already going through a lot. We are going through a lot of suffering. We are going through a lot of pains. We are struggling to have our daily bread. And the church is with us, accompanying us in this difficult period, suffering with us. There's no parish anywhere that has been closed because of this crisis. The priests are living even in miserable conditions because they want to identify with the people. They want to alleviate the level of suffering of our people. The priests need to be encouraged, which means that if they are working and carrying out their ministry, I'm really pleading that people should not be kidnapped. Not to talk of priests. Let us try to make sure that we respect people, their dignity. I'm really pleading that those who are responsible for this kidnapping, I know you may have a reason why you did it. I know you may have your grievances in your heart. But please, let Father be released. Let anybody who is in the keeping of any other person because of kidnapping, let them be released, because we are adding suffering unto ourselves, which is not good.
Thank you so much, my Lord, for that appeal. Yes, I think it was very necessary. My Lord, please, I don't know, you may not be able to react to all the concerns. There are quite many, but if we can permit us do a rush read of many of these, some are comments, some are questions, and then you just do your general conclusion. Maybe you can answer some. Let's go very quickly. Greetings, my Lord. Greetings, Yannick. I am following the program with keen interest. Here's my worry. Why could all the bishops not stay away from honoring the invitation from the presidency to show that they were with the people? Honoring the invitation was an indication that they care less about the plight of the people. I wish all other bishops could uphold the opinions of the bishops of Douala, Bafoussam, and Yagua. It's coming from Pam, writing from Moliko, Buea. Okay, that's thank you very much. This other one very quickly. Greetings, my lord. I think people are pointing fingers because they saw you in Yaoundé and the photo was all over the social media. Saying a bishop all right. There are lots of things we have to be censoring for some reason, and the person continues by saying it is said all over social media that the bishops collected bribe. You people are saying nothing. What do we have to say concerning this, my lord? Because the photos are still viral on social media. It's coming from Lilian, writing from Bomaka Parish, Sacred Heart Parish, Bomaka. Yeah, I think that we've always said, please, in as much as you're making your point, please, can you read such comments online if you're given an opportunity to read it on air, please? You have to censor your words yourself, please. It says, good evening, please. I wish to also ask the document which the bishop says you should send to Mr. Felix. Please send to me, okay? And the person continues, greetings, my lord. With all the irregularities at the presidential elections result, which was published online with facts accompanying with videos, what can you say about it? Or those videos were also fake? It's coming from Epa, writing from Douala. And this other one, my lord, greetings, thanks for the clarification, but my advice to the government is that when next they are to organize elections, they should allow it in the hands of the church if truly they have the people at heart. What they need in our nation is the truth. Thanks. It's coming from Simbo Gerardine Nanu. Thank you very much. This other one, good evening, my lords. It's coming from Karin, writing from Buea. Majority of people write the studio are trying to force their words on the bishop. That's what Karin is saying. Thank you, Karin. This other one, Good evening, sir. My name's Chinji Francis Kefi from Buea. My question to the bishop is: the report that his observers brought from the ground shows that who won? We are Catholic Christians, and we were there, and we voted for change, and our votes were stolen. All right, says that are Catholic Christians or priests not imbatable? That's the question. Chinji Francis is asking. Yes, we're soon going to wrap up. This other one, it says, greetings, my lord. Why did the church not release the results they had from their representative during the presidential election? Ferdinand from Bamida. My lord, your place day. I love your articulation and the truth of God. And it says, my lord bishop, thank you very much. Ferdinand from Bamida. Thank you, Ferdinand. This one, good evening, my lord. You people sent observers to monitor the elections. We want to know if the feedback showed that CPDM won in the northwest and southwest regions. Valley, writing from Bamenda. And this other one, okay. So we have so many comments. It says, bonsoir, monseigneur. Comment faire pour que les communications dans l'église soient plus fluides pour que l'information catholique puisse être disponible en temps? Comment l'église compte-t-elle aider les fidèles dans l'engagement politique par la création d'un parti politique chrétien, et ce que l'Église qui est au Cameroun pourrait encourager une telle initiative? It's coming from Alfred Beer. I'm sure the information is understood. Yes, the message has been passed. Information is understood. We're going to read all the comments, and my Lord is going to react to them as he concludes, because we don't have time. We're having quite a good number of comments, and we want to do justice by reading all of them. We'll just wrap up with these two. Given that there is a Peace and Justice Commission at NEC, it's but right and just that electoral results from all polling stations in Cameroon be sent to NEC through their observers. Can the same bishops who were invited by the SG at the presidency request for these results? Peter Fonji, writing from Buea. Good evening to you, Yanni. Good evening, my Lord Bishop. This program is timely. My Lord, even if you put out your head to the gallows, there are people who will still criticize the church. Thanks for all the clarifications coming from Madame Vero from Mount Carmel Junction in Buea. This one. Good evening, my Lord, the Bishop of Buea. I wish to thank the church through the bishops of all what they have done to keep this country in peace, and I believe that without the prayers of the Christian faithful, our situation would have even been worse. I believe our prayers and repentance can solve our situation, not violence and politics. From Katakisong Ivo Chamo from Ikasa Parish, Diocese of Kumba. Yes, my Lord, to be very candid, we have quite a good number of messages. I think that we are definitely going to wrap up that. Thank you so much, my Lord. We are taking a leave, so we want to get your summary conclusion.
Thank you very much, Yannick. I just thought it was important for me to join you this evening for this program. I cannot satisfy all the desires and the wishes of the people, especially as far as these elections are concerned. And of course, the church is apolitical. We are for everybody. We cannot form a political party, as somebody was suggesting there. And at the same time, I want to assure the population that the church is there for them. When I talk about the church, I'm not only referring to the Catholic Church. I'm referring to the Presbyterian Church, to the Baptist Church, to all the Christian churches that are standing up for justice, that are making sure that we have justice in the world and in our communities. I also want to talk about our brothers in the Muslim faith because they too, they stand for truth, they stand for justice. And I think that together we have been working in order to see how we can make our country to be a better place. We have challenges in Cameroon. We have difficulties in Cameroon. We know that. And that is why I've always said that it is not the insults in the social media. It is not the criticisms in the social media. It is not the violent attack on people's persons in the social media that is going to change Cameroon. What is going to change Cameroon is that we Cameroonians, we must kneel down before God and continuously pray to God and hand over our challenges to Him while we are making our own efforts to take measures in order to see that things get better. At the same time, let us be united in prayer. Let us pray for our country. Let us pray for a conversion of heart for all of us Cameroonians. And I'm not only thinking about those who are working in the government or even in the church, even in the society. The corruption that we practice at our different levels, back in families, our places of work, our own parishes, our dioceses and all the rest. We need to pray for a conversion of heart. And we're in the period of Advent. And the church calls us during this Advent period to a change of heart, to forgiveness, to reconciliation, and to see how all of us as one person. There's nobody who hates Cameroon. We all love this nation. I want to make this nation to be a place that is better. If people are running out of the country and going outside there, because they're looking for greener pastures. And it's not easy outside there too. But in our nation, if we work together and take measures and put our heads together, we can develop our nation in such a way that others will be running to come to Cameroon to have good conditions. It is my prayer, it is my wish that we continue to pray for a change of heart, we continue to pray for good tidings, we continue to hope. Pope Francis asks us to hope, the year of hope. We have to continue to hope. Let us not, one of the sins against hope is despair. When you give up, thinking that there's nothing coming again. No, hope is always expecting that there are better days that are coming ahead. And I'm sure they are coming. Let us not be carried away by some of the weaknesses or errors that we may have lived. But let us be hopeful. Let us trust in God. And God's time will always be the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my Lordship, for the We're definitely going to have you some other time. And to you, dear viewers and listeners of DMRT, it is on this note we come to the end of this special edition of Mountain Echoes. We had with us His Lordship Michael Bibi, the Bishop of the Diocese of Buea. He spoke truth to power, to the appeal and to the satisfaction of many who watched us. And definitely we're going to have this kind of conversations quite too often to shed light on some societal issues. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Yannick Funky. On a very special note, I want to thank all those who put together resources to ensure that this program was a success today. And more especially to the station manager of DMRT, Joyce Bong, together with all the other team members for putting together a successful program. And to you, dear viewers who participated, we appreciate your great work. Keep watching DMRT. We share the light of hope. Good night.